All four of our channels are going through it. It's crazy. So last night, and boy, the mainstream media, oh boy, the agenda-led mainstream media is celebrating this. Unrivaled, record-breaking attendance last night in Philadelphia. Unrivaled put this up, record-breaking attendance, 21,490 in attendance. All-time record for regular season pro women's basketball.
There is no way the Philadelphia attendance story was going to go unchallenged, and it didn't. Unrivaled posted up their big announcement, 21,490 people in the building. An all-time record for a regular season professional women's basketball game, the biggest crowd the Xfinity Mobile Arena has ever seen. The mainstream press ate it up. New York Times, ESPN, Sports Illustrated, The Guardian, Yahoo Sports, every single one of them ran with it like it was gospel. And for anybody who actually follows what's been going on with this league, that reaction should raise eyebrows. Here's the thing, this wasn't some spontaneous moment.
Pro women's basketball game, most attended event in Xfinity Mobile Arena history. You may be like, wow, look at all these people that showed up for 3x3 basketball. Guys, be smarter than this. Okay? Be smarter than this. Let's understand some things. Number one, they have been promoting this.
Nobody just woke up one Saturday and decided to pile into an arena. The build-up to this game stretched back the better part of a year. Promotional material was everywhere for months, ads, rallies, flyers plastered all over the place. Philadelphia itself carries a certain weight when it comes to political and social causes, and that context mattered here. Dawn Staley was in the crowd. Wanda Sykes was there. The atmosphere in the building wasn't just about basketball, and pretending otherwise misses the entire point of how this event was assembled.
Number one, they have been promoting this Philadelphia game for what? A year? A year I have seen promotion about this game. It feels like. I know at least the last 6 months I've seen flyers and they've had rallies out there. Let us not lose sight of the political agenda that is Philadelphia. That's a thing. Wanda Sykes.
So, did 21,000 people actually show up? Probably. Were 21,000 people sitting in those seats? Almost certainly yes. But did 21,000 individual fans each go out and purchase their own ticket through normal channels the way a crowd at a regular sporting event would? That's where the story gets murky. Corporations dumped money into bulk ticket purchases, hundreds here, thousands there.
Sykes. And Dawn Staley. Is there any other celebrity lesbians that decided to show up for this game? Guys, understand what happened here. All right? Now, of course, I've got to say speculation, and look at this, folks. Look at this. I mean, all the media is doing victory laps. New York Times, The Guardian, Yahoo Sports.
Giveaways flooded the market. Reports surfaced that at least one WNBA player alone bought 60 tickets for people she knew. 60 tickets from a single person. Think about what that says about how the seats were actually filled. The machinery behind this crowd was built and operated by organizations that saw an opportunity to make a statement. Companies that got loud and visible during 2020 saw this as another chance to position themselves alongside women's sports, women of color, and the LGBTQ community. They wrote checks.
Sports Illustrated, ESPN. And we'll get to Natasha Cloud in the WNBA CBA and her lunatic comments that's tied to Unrivaled. We'll get to that in just a minute. Just a memento, por favor. We'll get to that. Guys, we're not this dumb. Do I believe for a minute?
They handed out passes. They made sure those seats were occupied. For comparison, Unrivaled's regular games down in Florida have been scraping together crowds barely above 1,000. One night to the next, the league went from fighting to fill a small venue to supposedly packing a major arena with over 20,000 bodies. That kind of leap doesn't happen because of the product alone. Natasha Cloud decided to weigh in on the whole situation, and what came out of her mouth made the attendance question look almost minor by comparison. Cloud has been a polarizing figure for a while now, and her track record on political topics is well established.
Feel a second that there was 21,490 fans there that each bought a single individual ticket, yada, yada, yada. No way. Do I believe you probably had some corporate entities involved in this that probably bought thousands of tickets?
She went out and declared loudly, with no hesitation, that the players don't need the WNBA, they don't need a CBA. Unrivaled and the other ventures happening outside the league give them all the leverage they need. The power sits with the players, she said. The momentum is theirs, the investment is flowing their way. And until the league meets their demands, nobody on the players' side is going to budge.
Giveaways. Oh, we've got a chance to make this look like something. Let's swoop in there. Some corporation with their agenda that probably their agenda showed up real loud in 2020. Do you remember that? Let's buy 2,000 tickets. You got another one. Let's buy 500 tickets. And then we'll give them away. We'll give them to...
She went further. She called out the WNBA's front office directly, leadership by name, said the league doesn't value what the players bring, said they aren't even attempting to move things forward, pointed to an upcoming television deal as proof that the players know exactly what they're worth and the league is trying to hide it from them. And then she drew the line in the sand, as hard as it's possible to draw one. We will not move until they move. The problem is that Cloud got her own facts completely wrong in the process.
We'll give them to, hey, salespeople, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. We know how this works. Do I believe there was a bunch of face value tickets, yada? No, I don't. Do I believe that tickets were sold in a manner that they would normally be sold to at other sporting? No, I don't. I don't believe that. And boy, I implore you to not believe it.
She claimed the new TV deal was 2 years away from kicking in. It isn't. USA Network is set to start airing games this season right now, this year. Somebody who is standing in front of a camera making bold declarations about leverage and value should at least have a handle on the basic timeline of the deals that are already in motion. Getting that wrong while acting like the players hold every card in the deck is a pretty significant credibility problem. And if Cloud's attitude represents where most of the players are mentally, if the locker room is collectively sitting on the same position she laid out, then the league is staring down the end of the road. A strike becomes inevitable.
Union is suggesting. All right, they're wanting 30% of revenue, gross revenue. The league has come out and said, look, we'll keep losing money if we do that model. Okay. As you're sitting here listening to this video, how many of you feel like taking all of your cash out of your pocket, going outside and putting it in a pile, put a little lighter fluid on it?
And the ownership group has already telegraphed what happens next if that goes down. They don't fold. They don't negotiate under duress. They shut it down and wait the players out. What's really driving this whole standoff isn't money, it's ideology.
And flicking your Bic and lighting it on fire and watching it burn. I'm willing to bet 0% of you believe that's a great idea. And guess what? It's not a good idea. It's stupid as hell. But that is what the players, I just put a visual illustration for you. That is what the players are content with the owners to continue to do, is put their money in a pile.
The players are treating the CBA fight like a cultural movement, something bigger than dollar amounts and revenue splits. For the people who own these teams, it's none of that. It's arithmetic. Revenue minus expenses. Profit or loss. A business that has never made money can't hand over 30% of gross revenue and suddenly start turning a profit.
Content with the owners to continue to do is put their money in a pile and keep burning it. And the owners have finally said, much to their credit, frankly, you know what? I'm giving the owners credit. They finally said enough is enough. Either we do a deal that's beneficial for everybody, or the league won't continue. It's that simple. Again, the players, they ended the CBA too early. They should have waited. They should have got.
That math doesn't change no matter how loud the rhetoric gets or how packed one arena in Philadelphia was for one night. The uncomfortable truth sitting underneath all of it is that the wave of attention, the media deals, the cultural moment, nearly all of it traces back to one player. Caitlin Clark put women's basketball on the national map in a way it had never been before. Every conversation happening right now about television contracts, attendance figures, and player compensation exists because of the foundation she built. The same players who are now demanding the league recognize their collective worth are standing on ground that one athlete cleared for them. And Unrivaled, the backup plan they're leaning on while they hold out, is losing viewers on television every single week, no matter how many seats got filled in Philadelphia.
They should have waited. They should have gotten a year in to the new media rights deal so everybody could see, with Caitlin Clark healthy, because that's all this is about. The entire media rights deal is because of Caitlin Clark. And she was injured last year. A full season of media rights money, the gate revenue coming back because Caitlin Clark is back. The Caitlin Clark goes back into full effect, and they can get a year of actual data under their belt.
The CBA situation hasn't really moved, not in any meaningful way. What's happening right now is being described as a stalemate, and honestly, that's exactly what it is. The WNBA owners, who are also NBA owners, worth remembering, and the players' union are completely stuck. The reason they're stuck is because the owners have flatly refused to even entertain the revenue-sharing model the union is pushing, and frankly, it's hard to blame them for that.
Their belt, as opposed to was 2024 and 2025 an outlier? Because let's be honest, there's a lot of data that they can go and pull that doesn't look so good on the books. In fact, it looks terrible. This is ESPN. They updated this just to give everybody an.
Here's what the players are asking for: 30% of gross revenue, gross. The league has been completely transparent about what that means. In practice, it means the league continues to bleed money with zero end in sight. Think about it this way. If a business is already losing money every single month, and someone comes along and asks for a bigger cut of what's coming in before any of the bills are paid, that's not a negotiation. That's just watching the money disappear faster.
ESPN, they updated this just to give everybody an idea of where things are at. As the deadline passed on January 9th, the sides ushered into a period of, quote, status quo. In the 3 weeks since, the stalemate has continued. Players Association still awaiting an official response since sending in its proposal a month ago. The league said, nah, we're not even entertaining it. The league believes the proposal didn't warrant a response.
That's essentially what the players are comfortable letting the owners keep doing, and the owners have finally drawn a line and said they're done with it. Either this gets structured in a way that works for everyone involved, or the whole thing stops. It's that blunt. Part of the problem is timing. The players ended the previous CBA too soon. The smarter play would have been to let at least one full season of the new media rights deal play out first, especially with Caitlin Clark healthy and back on the court.
A response, since it wasn't that different from the past ones the unions have submitted. And instead, sources told ESPN it's waiting for the players to submit what it would consider a, quote, more realistic proposal. There you go. Multiple sources have told ESPN that there's an understanding that the only way to find resolution is to find compromise. Quote, that's literally what negotiation.
Because that's really what all of this hinges on. The entire television deal, the gate revenue, the sponsorship interest, Clark being healthy and active is the engine driving those numbers. Last season, she was hurt for a stretch, which muddied the data. A full year with Clark in the lineup would give both sides actual, clean numbers to negotiate around. Instead, the union moved early, and now they're stuck arguing over projections and hypotheticals when real evidence is sitting right there waiting to be collected. And some of that evidence doesn't look great for the player's case.
Quote, that's literally what negotiation is, one player told ESPN. It says they got to come to an understanding of the revenue. We know that's a 70-30 situation. 70% of net revenue over the lifetime of the agreement. That is what the league wants to give. That's net revenue, net. And in other words, you have to start turning a profit before you see any money. That's fair. I'm not talking about their salaries.
ESPN laid out the current state of things pretty plainly. The January 9th deadline came and went, and both sides slid into what's being called a status quo period. 3 weeks have passed since then, and nothing has shifted. The Players Association sent in a proposal about a month ago and has been waiting for an official response ever since. The league's position is that they're not even going to dignify it with one because it wasn't substantially different from what the union had already put forward previously. The league is sitting back and waiting for the players to come back with something that actually reflects reality.